Can we talk about confidence? I'm glad you said yes. Thank you for tuning in to From Paris with Love, where I share just a gem or two that has really made me into the woman that I am today and afforded me the opportunity to live the life that I live, all because of God, first and foremost. So let's get into it. So I went out with a girlfriend and I was casually having a conversation with the bartender. And this was our first time hanging out, me and this girlfriend. And she said to me, the way that you talk is so confident. Like you're just so confident. And when she said it, it didn't even, I was so, I was kind of a taken back because in my mind, I was just being me. Like I didn't even see it as something I didn't see it as confidence. I just thought it was me. And then it hit me, wow, have I have I really got this thing like do I really have a grip on confidence? Because there was once a time where I did not. I was not confident. And yeah, there were parts like times in my life where I knew who I was, but I feel like at one point in my life, certain situations that happened, I was easily shaken. I was easily you know, taken off kilter and forgetting who I was, needing to adjust my crown. But something shifted along the way where I just got some audacity. And honestly, I feel like confidence stems from your identity. Like you have to know who you are in order to be confident. And so then it got me to thinking, huh, confidence is really what has allowed me to live the life that I live. In so many areas of my life, being confident is really what was the key that unlocked all those doors. So I decided that I'm going to do a series on confidence because I think I know just a thing or two that I can share with you to help you be more confident and live the life that you deserve. So let's get into it. So today, for the first part of the series on confidence, and I think I'm going to title it Confidence is Key or Confidence is the Key because it literally can unlock every door. But today I'm going to talk about confidence and how it really does impact your career. So I had a situation recently where I had gotten contacted about a position for a job, a contract. Now I had already signed on with this company, but there were no contracts available at the time for me in the states that I was licensed in. And so I signed this contract back in July. Well, they recently came back to me and said, hey, we really do have an assignment now that we really could use you for. Are you interested? And I said, sure, I'm interested. And I decided to go and take a look at the contract because I hadn't seen it in months, because I hadn't worked with this company yet. And when I took a look at that contract, I knew that it wasn't paying what the job in the state that it was in was worth. So meaning I knew that the position that I was getting, right, the state that it was in, they pay big money. So I knew that they weren't paying me what I was worth if I were to work in that state. But when I signed on with the company, I was going to be working in a different state that had a lower pay. And actually the woman told me, "Well, we're going to give you a pay that's in the middle of the two uh, states that you could potentially be working in." So I'm like, "Oh, okay." But I didn't end up working in those states. So then I said, "Hmm. Now I should be making more because I know this company is making more." Now, I know this because I've looked into having my own company, and that's not off the table just yet. But because I have that inside knowledge, I know what these states are paying for the work that I do. I know what the companies can make, so I know that they're making a killing off of what I do. And that's fine, I get it. right? But what you're not going to do is pay me less than what I know I'm worth. So I decided to send an email. And so here's this confidence, this audacity, right? That, yeah, I know I already signed a contract, but I haven't quite started this job yet. So I'm going to ask for them to change my pay. And that's exactly what I did. And I got pushback, right? The person said, well, you already signed a contract, and technically, we don't give you a pay based on the state that you work in. And I didn't like that. Mm-mm. But I almost backed down. Almost. I felt like, oh, well, he's right. I did already sign the contract, even though I hadn't worked for that company just yet. And I sat on it for a few days, and something said, nope, I'm not going to go for that. I'm going to ask for what I want. Because here's the thing, the best thing they can say is yes. I want you. You see what I did there? So that's exactly what I did. I emailed them. I wrote it up real nice. And I found the woman's name who told me that I should be able to get the pay based on the state that I worked in. And I included her in that email. And I said, something around the lines of, well, I understand that I did, I understand what you're saying. However, I know when I was offered this position and I accepted, that I was told that this pay was based on the state at that time. Because if it wasn't, I would have never accepted that pay when I've been in this industry almost 10 years. So, I know who I am. And I said, I really would love to continue on this working relationship, and I would love for it to be mutually beneficial, because here's the thing that you got to know: these jobs need you. Yes, you may need a job, but I want you to think about it as in the sense that, like, they need you. They need you. Or they wouldn't be looking for a position to be filled. They wouldn't be looking for you. So when you have that in mind, it changes the game. Because I know that they needed me. They needed somebody last minute. The school year is about to end, and they needed somebody to take care of these cases. And they knew that if they didn't hire somebody, they would be leaving a lot of money on the table. So I used it to my advantage. And wouldn't you know, they came back and gave me more money. Confidence. Confidence. I know who I am. And I was kind. I was respectful. There's no need to be rude, because that just looks like you don't know who you are. Because when you know who you are, you stand 10 toes down. You don't have any reason to be disrespectful, or, fight for somebody to see who you are. When you already know who you are, you speak with elegance. You speak with respect, with an intellect. And if you need Chat Bay to help you, you know, to construct a professional email with just the right tone, it's at your exposure. It's free, right? But yeah, I'm getting what